Hey, it's Jared. Over the last several years, I've talked about productivity and different things that I do to keep myself organized. I've made some videos about journaling and really have showcased how I'm doing these different things to remain productive. Now, over the last several years, I've been getting more questions in person from people about what it is that I do for a living, how I stay productive, how I make time for my family, just different questions like this that are around the season of life that I'm in, which when you start having kids, it's a season of life that you're going to be in for a while. Now, I have four kids right now. They're between the ages of 15 and 6. And so I've got a lot of different things that are taking place. And as a dad, I like being involved in the different things that my kids have going on in their lives. I like being their coach. I like showing up to their school events and different things like that to support them and to see the different things that they are achieving as they age and become more able to do different things and learn different things. It's just really cool for me to be able to experience those things and cheer them on, coach them, support them, and show them that I care. But as a business owner, I've been self-employed since I was 19. It is very hard to find the time and to structure one's life as a man, as an adult, as a business owner to still have time for all of those things. And on top of that, also work on the relationships with my kids, work on the relationship with my wife. There's a lot of different things that take time. For most men, it's like, how do I balance all of these different things? And looking back at a lot of the conversations that I've had as I've written about them in my journal, I've noticed a common trend, and that is that this is a dilemma that all men have, especially those that are husbands, and most definitely those who have kids as well, is trying to balance all of these things. You see, we feel the tug of trying to have the things that the world would say are measurable things for success. We want to move on to the next level. We want to be improving. We don't want to be stagnant. We don't want to be left behind. We want to provide the best for our families. We want to make sure that our kids have all of the opportunities possible. And it's just an awful lot to wear on your shoulders and to manage. So at some point, you have to start making decisions as to what's going to be important. And I decided that I was going to start transitioning some of my writing, my public writing, towards those topics. And so that's what I'm here to talk about today, because if you have connected with anything that I've said so far, I really hope that you would check out what I have been writing about and what I'm going to be writing about over at least over the next month. But in this video, I wanted to talk about the main problem. The problem that we have is that most men are living as slaves to their schedule, not schedule sovereigns. And what I mean by schedule sovereign is having control over your schedule, being able to make some adjustments there. And I know that this is challenging. Some of us have maybe more flexibility because we're self-employed. Some of us have a job that requires us to be somewhere for certain hours, but we all have downtime. We all have weekends, maybe vacation, time off, different things. And it all revolves around how do we take control of the time that we have and be most effective with that time. There's the self first, family gets the leftovers approach that a lot of people have because we recognize we need to control a lot of things. We need to manage a lot of different things. And so I have to be thinking about myself a lot. And then I'm reactive to my family. I'm thinking about my family with whatever I have left, which a lot of times just wouldn't be much gas left in the tank. There's always the lie that we tell ourselves about we can do that later. We can focus on that later. As soon as I get to this position in my job, or as soon as we make this amount of money, or as soon as we're able to get our kids into that school, these different things that we're thinking about are later and down the road. And we put off the now for the later, and that causes damage and challenge. The lie of later is something that we always end up believing. There's the provider trap as well, the stress of being the sole provider. If you are the sole provider and your wife stays at home, or maybe your wife just works a little bit, or maybe your wife has a job as well, being a provider in the family is a stressor and it can be challenging. And if we look at being a provider first and not focusing on what we're providing for and thinking about that, then we find ourselves struggling and we're missing the mark. So why this matters to me comes down to many of the conversations that I've been having and understanding and realizing the different things that I've done, not because I knew how to do them from the beginning, but because I saw the results I was getting and decided I wanted something different. I first realized in my 20s that I was working way too many hours and that if I was ever going to have a family, I would never get to know my family, and it would be really challenging. I'd probably end up divorced and my kids estranged and all of those things. It just wasn't a sustainable path. So that started the mindset of that, at least. It took me a long time to really figure out what that meant and how to actually do that. Of course, I was in my 20s. I'm in my mid 40s now, and I'm understanding that, yeah, I made some decisions that were good. I made some that weren't. I've pivoted along the way. I've tried different things. Some things have worked and some haven't. And so it's a process of learning. But what I definitely didn't have was a blueprint, an example that was set out for me by my parents or the people that were around me when I was young. I learned through mistakes and course corrections. And I think you might agree that is what life is. It's through learning our lessons and course correcting as we become aware of more information. We can make change and we can make better decisions. A true mindset shift for me was realizing that the interruptions in life are the plan when you are a father. When you have kids, the interruptions are the plan. I now no longer am getting frustrated at the different interruptions and things that take place. I want to react accordingly to those, and I want to not overreact because I had things set out that I wanted to get accomplished. If I'm more dialed in on what my goals are, what tasks I need to complete them, and my own personal structure, I can easily react to the different needs of those people that are around me without flying off the handle because I'm getting derailed over here. If I have clarity here, I can be responsive here. So what am I teaching in these different posts that I hope you go and check out? Number one is peace during interruptions, not fewer interruptions. If you're like me, the interruptions are not getting less and less, but how I respond to them is getting better. The daily question, am I choosing them or resenting them? If I see everybody as an interruption, people that are keeping me from accomplishing the things that I know I need to accomplish, then I start to resent them, and I don't want to be resenting my wife or my kids. That is not right, and it's something that I need to correct within myself, and it's something that I have corrected. Doesn't mean that I still don't have moments where I slip and feel like I'm resenting them, but I am aware of that now, and I'm able to course correct and not resent them and then pour out any sort of frustration or anger in their direction. Focus and intentionality over hours and calendar time. I am more dialed in on what I'm trying to achieve, which means I actually need less hours to achieve it. When I didn't have a clear target, I was working towards something, towards an idea, something that I didn't have a full grasp of. And now that I have more of a grasp of that, I've detailed out exactly what I'm trying to achieve. I know exactly how I'm going to get there. And even though there's some unknowns still out there, those aren't so crazy that I can't focus. And it takes a lot less time for me to get the things done that I need to get done than it used to, which means my focus and intentionality is not about time spent. It's about intentional time, and I have a lot of leftover time for my family because of that. How choosing family first actually enables goal achievement. Because I decided I was going to choose my family first and I was going to focus on them, that obviously is going to take up a certain amount of time, which means I'm left with a smaller amount of time. There's been some studies that have shown that a 4-day work week is much more effective than a 5-day work week because it forces you to be more effective in a 4-day work week because you know that you don't have that 5th day to get work done. Now, I haven't adopted a 4-day work week, but I've adopted the mentality of being extremely effective or as effective as I can be when I'm working. So that way I'm not wasting time and stuff over here because I know that I want to be spending time with my family, going to their games, coaching their teams, cheering them on, doing those different things as a dad, and making sure that I have a little bit of one-on-one time with them as well. Those are things that take time, and because of that, it puts a time crunch over here, which makes me stay hyper-focused and not procrastinate, not get off task. So why have I decided to write about these things instead of make videos? Well, I find that writing is a little bit more therapeutic for me than making videos. It's much easier for me to get to the point in text than it is when I'm talking and running my mouth. But I've decided to write about these things because they aren't theoretical concepts. They're lived experiences. They're things that I have adopted into my life a little bit at a time. And through people asking me questions because they've observed things in my life, I've realized, okay, I'm on to a couple of things here, and I want to be able to share those things. And I find the best way to do that is in text form. I enjoy writing, and it's given me a great outlet to write. I'm also going to try and do this daily because it allows for real-time processing and authentic sharing. When I'm sharing about different things daily, I can have a progression through a topic over a period of time. And then I can also respond to what's actually happening in my life. Instead of saying at the end of a month, okay, I'm going to write this article or make a video about the few days out of the last month that worked really well. I really want to be sharing more about the process, which is the journey of trying to be more of a family first entrepreneur, family first mindset, and make those decisions with my family in mind. I most definitely want more conversations with men who are walking similar paths. The questions that I've gotten are for men walking similar paths who have witnessed what I'm doing, and I've asked questions of other men who are doing the same thing. And if we continue to do that, and we don't just live on this island all alone, feeling like we're the only one experiencing this, because we absolutely aren't, we're not that unique, then we are able to see into other people's lives and see that we're not alone, learn a little bit from each other, because each of us has experiences that we can learn from. And as I post, each note builds upon the previous, completing something that could potentially be a framework for trying to achieve these things in your own life. So here's what you can expect if you go down to the link in the description to my Substack, which is absolutely free. You can join the Substack for free, get access to all previous posts and future posts. I promise honest conversations about real struggles and things that I'm dealing with, things that I've overcome, practical frameworks that actually work. It might not be some master framework that you can download and implement into your life, but it's bits and pieces of things that I've been doing over time that help me make decisions and help me keep my family in focus. There's most definitely stories from the trenches of being a husband, father, and business owner. I'm not just sharing perfect solutions for perfect situations. I'm sharing better choices that lead to better overall solutions. And this content is definitely going to be for men who want to lead well as the leader in their family, as the man, whether you're a Christian or not, someone who wants to be the cornerstone, the strong pillar in their family. Hopefully this content resonates with you. So go down to the link in the description to my Substack. I'm also posting these on my website, so there's 2 different places that you can find them. If you subscribe in Substack for free, you'll get access to these in your email every single day. You'll get a quick email with the latest post. And what I'm looking forward to most is the conversations that are going to take place in the comment section below these posts. So if you're still here with me, thank you so much. Know that I don't have it all figured out, but what I'm trying to do is share as I go along. Instead of waiting to the end and saying, here's what I did, and it being 20 years removed, I'd rather share and talk about what is working for me and what isn't working for me as I'm going through this journey. I hope that you find that useful. If you did, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, head down to that link to the Substack, click subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.